worth keeping. It takes time to come through. We're just having a good time, going through the pines. Just small little pieces in a bigger design. The older the more I know, there ain't nothing wrong with being another day. There's a long stretch of road and a sky full of blue. And the radio playing that worn out tin. Used to drive like I had somewhere better to go. Now I just let the miles roll easy and slow. I used to think youth was the place to stay. Like the best of life might fade away. But the older, the more it shows. Not everyone gets the chance to grow. We're just having no time, like the wind through the pine. Just small little pieces in a bigger design. The older, the more. Look, I hope you can hear me. It is morning time. Welcome to the Senior Talks on Saturday, early in the morning. No matter what was going on the weekend, we are here. As I stretch my knowledge and welcome you guys to Senior Talks, we're here each and every Saturday where we talk about thriving seniors, what thriving seniors are doing, what the resources are. And I'm not talking about seniors like in high school that are about to graduate next year. Congratulations and welcome back. But I'm talking about seniors, those that are 65 and over. So, um, there's so much happening in Chicago. Yesterday, I don't have a guest today, but I wanted to talk to you guys about what I'm witnessing. There's a okay, wait. I'm sorry. I'm thrown off and I'm gonna tell you why. I'm thinking about yesterday because it was just so overwhelming. So anyway, my name is Dr. LaDonna Ray. I'm a pre-senior and I'm hosting this show. I'm in for Clara Hubbard. She has been resting and she's been thriving. I've been watching her on social media. She's doing her thing. Um, but here's what I was thinking about this morning as I literally got out of bed after going to bed late. Gary, Indiana. Gary, Indiana and the south suburbs have been hit with astronomical weather, tornadoes even. These are places that never really been hit before. Gary has always been skipped, I was told by the residents. And then the south suburbs got hit, maybe was it 10 or 11 years ago. And that was a taste of reality. But what's happening now is they're both getting hit at the same time, and not once, but several times. So yesterday, I got in my car and hold on one second. I think this is my dad's caregiver. Hello? Yes, I'm at work right now. Can I call you back? But I'm on but I yeah, I do radio, so I gotta go. I'm sorry. Okay, thank you. All right, bye. I'll tell you about that too. So we got hit at the same time, south suburbs, because I live in the south suburbs. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. Roofs, trees. It's more than that in Gary. Gary in Northwest Indiana, some parts of Munster, Hammond, uh, and Gary, and some other parts too. So what I did was on Wednesday by the afternoon, I didn't know the magnitude of what had happened until someone called me. And so I called the hospital. They were having issues. And When I say issues, no power, that's a big one. Generators, no. That wasn't kicked in, okay, if at all, at that time at 2:32. And let's just say this has been every day it gets every day old, right? That's the song, but every day it just gets worse and worse and worse. And by Thursday, I talked about it some more on our afternoon show, and by Friday I was in my car. So I went to Sam's Club, loaded up water and snacks, went to Gary, and the devastation that I saw was not a lot of water. The water had probably subsided by then, but the trees we're talking about, I'm not talking about like little baby trees that were planted 10 years ago. I'm talking about these were 100-year-old, if not more, because the big stumps, as they get older, they expand. This is 100-year-old plus trees uprooted and leaning against buildings onto homes. One just missed a home. And that was a lot. And people are outside. Back when I was younger, a lot of young men had no shirts on in the summertime. You don't see a lot of that today. But these kids had no shirts on because it's hot in their house. It's hot in their houses. I passed by several gas stations. I stopped at two or three of them, and the pumps weren't working. One gas station in particular had a generator going, and it was still hot in there. All the ice is gone. They had snacks. A gentleman I spoke to, he works for utility services out there, and he said he knew that when the power went out, it wasn't coming back on. He has older people at his home, and though no kids, but he said we just have to pull together and get through this. I got chills just saying that. And I spoke to the owner of the groceries of the gas station. He talked about, getting the generator up so that he can doesn't lose a lot of product. So, he was concerned about his product. Okay, I get it. However, when I spoke to the worker there, she was in tears. She looked very young. She's a grandmother. She looked like she could be somebody's granddaughter, okay? But of course, she probably is. My point, you know what she doesn't look old enough to be a grandmother. But she talked about her grandkids at the house and how she's at work. She said, "I'm sorry, I got a bonnet on," and I was just listening to her story, and she started crying. She was being so kind to one of the patrons that came in there looking for coffee. So in Gary, specifically, there's nothing hot or cold. Okay, you can't get anything refrigerated, and you can't get anything in an oven or anything that is electrically dependent. And so why do I bring this up? Because you guys, it's like by now you know about it. Well, Black media was out there. Okay, we went out there yesterday, but the media has not necessarily been out there, not at the start of this. They're hanging on to it now. And I got a message from Karen Freeman Wilson. I interviewed her. She is the former mayor of Gary, and now she's the president of the Chicago Urban League. And we sat in person under an umbrella. And she told me that the news coverage was in the beachfront area. I forgot the name of the city. Hold on. Miller Beach. The news is over there where those are vacation homes. Okay. What happened? Well, my vacation home. We're just gonna head home. What about the residents that are at home? Okay, what about that? I spoke to a gentleman that was the president of the Gary Housing Authority. They have a mixed use building. These are seniors that live in this building. My greatest question of all time is what about seniors that are bedbound and on oxygen, concentrated oxygen? Because those tanks, they only last as long as the level of oxygen you take. So, like my dad is on 6 liters. His tank will only last about 1 hour unless you have 39 of those. Okay. And that's only 39 hours. You're in trouble. You've got to get somewhere where there's some type of electricity so you can keep your concentrator going. He doesn't qualify for the portable one because he gets too many liters of oxygen. These are senior situations. These are senior concerns for thriving seniors, even seniors that are thriving are impacted by this climate change, this weather. These are real issues. And so when I left Gary, there was more, but you can go to our YouTube channel. If you go to us on WVON 1690 on YouTube, you'll be able to see these interviews. Interview with Karen Freeman Wilson, Mayor Eddie Melton, the president of the Gary Housing Authority, a few residents, some documentary. I mean, you'll see some things that have taken place. I talked to a lady on she was sitting on her porch just getting some fresh air. And she spoke to me about what she went through with her neighbors and checking on them. Everybody's checking on each other. And she went back in the house to change her shirt. She came out and she said, "I changed my shirt. Can we do it again?" I had to meet up with my next interview, but she cared. You know what I'm saying? She cared. She was a thriving senior. Her grandchildren were all around her. They were outside playing, no phones. And that's another thing. These children are getting a detox right now. But that even though that sounds good, it's still everything around them. There's fires everywhere. When I say fires, I mean things are happening everywhere as a result of this weather. If you want to give me a call, tell me how you've been impacted, if at all. Give us a call, 312 705 5850. That's 312 705 5850. How have you been impacted by this weather? Have you been impacted in the past? Have you ever flooded? Have you ever had a tree fall on your garage, home, or car? What did your insurance company say? That's the aftermath of this. What is insurance going to say? A couple of weeks ago we did who you going to call? Who you going to call? If a tree comes right clean down into your living room, thankfully no one gets hurt. But who are you going to call when that happens? Do you call your insurance agent? Do you call your village? Do you call the mayor? A lot of people think that it's the mayor's responsibility. What is he doing? I'm here to tell you, not one person had anything bad to say about their mayor. While in Chicago, it's a crapshoot. In Chicago, either Mayor Brandon Johnson is doing the best that he can, or he hasn't done anything for Black people. I hear a polar opposite all the time. No one goes down the middle. It's one or the other. But in Gary, they uplift their mayor. They stand behind him. They get more done. And I'm saying more because when you have a team behind you, that's what it takes. That's what it takes. Let's see. Al Stone says, Gary has been poor for 40 years. What do you want us to do now? Tell the ex-mayor to call the Jacksons since the government in charge has abandoned its citizens. I thought about that. I thought about how they have been struggling financially and economically for a long time. As you know, the auto industry, was it the auto industry or the steel industry? Let's just say the industry left because now my mind is not where it's Detroit auto, but there was an auto industry in Gary. I thought there was something going on in Gary. I think it was the talk out, drop it in the chat. You know the answer. I know you do. Because you said they've been poor for 40 years. So obviously you know that. There was a time when Gary was thriving. Okay. there was, and I know people go, well, when was this? We're so quick to we talk about racism and classism. Good morning from Honolulu, Hawaii. I know you guys know about the storms. Good morning to you, though. Good morning, Carol Sanders and Shirley Carter from Philadelphia. Good morning, Regina Perkins. Great Saturday, everyone. Yes, it is. But we talk about racism, classism, and how we have these isms, but then when it's our people, we suddenly create a whole nother set of people. And that's classism. They've been poor. So what? We just turn our back on them too? Let's get Mustafa on the line. I don't want to turn my back on people. Hey, Mustafa.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning to you. How are you, sir?
Doing well, doing well. In light of the storm and what's going on in Gary, this is really a matter of planning. I'm a homeowner, business owner, own some property, income property. And I remember about 10 years ago, one of my tenants asked me, why did I have a couple of generators? Was I making moonshine or what? Did I was I growing marijuana? I said, no, it's to save you in the event something happened. We have a power outage, which we had. You can at least have your refrigerator on. Maybe you can have some sort of light. That's why I have it. In the event something happened, and things do happen, make plans for that. You know what I mean? I make plans for my home. I get bars up because somebody might break in or try to break in, which they have. So it's a matter of preparedness. And in Gary, I don't think they were prepared. This all come with jobs as city planners and mayors and city council people. Are they good planners? You know what I mean? And some of these people that run for office, they may be wealthy, but hell, they may not know how to plan diddly squat. They just have some money they throwing around. You know what I mean? Money don't solve money problems. You know what I mean? You have to be able to think in situations. And that's what's going on there. So a lot of people are going to be hurt behind it because of planning. And typically, not always, but typically, people with less resources, don't get the services they deserve. They just don't. In that case.
No, I was going to say, to your point of planning, I asked Karen Freeman Wilson about that, and she explained to me that Gary, by it being such an old city, their infrastructure is outdated. They've started updating some of their infrastructure, but obviously it has not been completed. And, my question to her at that time was, hey, billions of dollars have been spent on preparedness. This doesn't look like the money was well spent. At the same time, NIPSCO is responsible for what is going on, but it's of course they blame the infrastructure, but it's disinvested. If you drive through Gary, there are tumbleweeds. Okay, I can't tell what the storm created or what was already messed up. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
And because of that, you have to wonder. Like, there was a time when, is it Broadway? Is that the street? There was a time when
Broadway, the main drag out there.
I've been there when it was thriving, and I'm not that old. So whether it was 20, 30 years ago, I've been there when it was thriving, when businesses were all up and down that street. And can you help me out? What was the industry? Was it the steel industry or was it the auto industry that was there that left?
The steel industry was there.
Okay.
When the steel industry stopped providing the jobs, which was about 55, 60% of the jobs there.
Absolutely.
When that dried up, in drugs and other entities came on the scene in Maryville, once they got black representation, white people moved the business to Maryville. You know what I'm saying? The banks, autos, auto industry. Where money circulating and turning hands. They went to Maryville.
Yeah.
When black representation was strong there. It still is. It's there, but and then they had a white mayor too. But I mean, I remember some years ago, I told a guy, man, you couldn't give me a house in Gary because of the chaos. The police department was in disarray.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Are they still in disarray? Because I've been to the Michael Jackson celebration. I went last year, and they were boots on the ground. Seemed to have a good relationship with the citizens there. Was that just for that day, or what are your thoughts on that?
Again, occasion. People rise to an occasion. What about when nobody's looking?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I know here in Chicago, they mean mug you regardless. It could be the Aaron Waters show. If you black, you will know it. Okay.
So,
I think.
What? Where's Willie Wilson at? Where's he at? He like to give away gas and help people. It might be a good opportunity for him to go out to Gary and run for mayor and really put on his show. Because he's running for mayor a number of times here, unsuccessful here running for mayor. Maybe he ought to go out there and spread his wings there. I had a conversation with him, and he thrived on how much money he's made and how many people he helped. Okay, here go some people right here, your people, our people, everybody people.
Well, why is it up to Willie Wilson? Why can't we all pull together too? I mean, you know how let me say this. Let me say this, Mustafa. You know how you work for a corporation and you get a 401k and they do a contribution based on your contribution, right? You put in your money, they put in their money. Why can't we come together with a Willie Wilson? I said a Willie Wilson because he ain't the only one.
Right.
So why can't we come together? Because we looking at them as those residents over there, Trots, okay? And we're so glad that that's not on the border of Illinois. But guess what? It affects us because the gas prices have gone up close to Northwest Indiana. I live in the south suburbs. The lines are long down the street because their fuel pumps are down. This affects us all. And what I saw yesterday, I didn't see Gary residents. I saw black people. So why can't we all get together?
Because we got too many people who are mega. We got these mega Negroes. They should be out there. You know what I mean? Willie Wilson, he's a mega guy in disguise as a Democrat in Chicago. All these mega folk, take a good look at what you're not doing. You know what I mean? We have these divisions oftentimes when people say, well, it ain't me. It ain't me. I'm not out there. I don't have the resources to help them. It'll hurt me more to go there to try to help than I do helping the people. I just don't have the resources. And many black folk who work 9 to 5, got a job, they don't have the resources to do it.
The know what to do is very, very, very much so key. I took 4 cases, which is not a lot. I took 4 cases of water out there. I don't have it like that. I got 4 kids. You know what I'm saying? I'm not rolling in dough. But if we all did something like that, let people cool off in your van, vehicle, food trucks, they all lined up out, we're trying to, making tacos. And why not line up over in Gary and give them some electricity so they can charge a phone, call a loved one? Because right about now, I've called several people in Gary that have no power and that their phones are going straight to voicemail. This is one of them is an 83-year-old woman. Like, I'm concerned about her, but I don't know where she lives. We've been phone buddies for a few years. So this is dire. And it's kind of, it feels like some residents will end up slipping away. I don't wish for that, but there are some resources. But NIPSCO has given an update on when the power will be restored, hopefully restored by Tuesday at 11:59. Okay, that's Wednesday to me. or by next Friday. So now we got people with medication and refrigerators, food. Of course, food is one thing, but White Castle was like lined up. They're somehow back on the block. But
Let me ask you this:
yeah.
Where's FEMA? Where's FEMA in this?
Look,
Where are
okay,
they?
that's next. That's next because Eddie Melton had to do a city of emergency, or a state of emergency, or city of emergency. The governor's state of emergency, and now it goes up federally. So I'm hoping federally that FEMA will step in. That's what we're waiting on. That's the next step. So they're on it,
I mean,
but they don't come.
you
They don't
take
come
the.
like that. You know what I'm saying? There's process.
Well, we need to come like that because this yin yang, the Cheeto man in D.C., he wants to drop bombs in Iraq. He wants to send a Navy ship over near Iraq in the water to kill people.
Mm-hmm.
We got people dying right here in Gary. You mean tell me we can't get the government that I owe money to that's chasing me up $1,100, sending me letters saying I owe Uncle Sam. You tell me they can't take my $1,100 I sent them to send a refrigerated van over there for people, some water. See, that's what troubles me. All the damn taxes I'm paying.
Okay, wait. Let's roll this back, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody gets, it's low hanging fruit is Trump. Okay, Trump is low hanging fruit, right? What is he doing? We already know what gets his attention, and if he rolled through Gary, he would be there all of 5 minutes. That is not the type of person or administration we have right now. Okay, but Gary's been like this before Trump got in office. Okay, so I'm done with Trump. I'm done looking to see what he's gonna do because when he depletes his artillery or his am I saying it right? Artillery, I can't even say the word. When he depletes his bombs and his weapons and the money that he's spending on this war that we still don't know what it's about, we won't have any. He's trying to stay out of, all that matters to him is his freedom and his power. He wants to stay out of prison and he wants to stay in office. I can't worry about him. What I can do is look at what do we have here. Someone on the chat said, her name is Charlene. Charlene said, thank you for your coverage of Gary, Indiana during this difficult time. I was born and raised in Gary under the leadership of Mayor Hatcher. Crystal Carroll said, good morning. I am listening from Gary with no power. And thank you, LaDonna, for talking about this and caring. Our mayor, Eddie Melton, has been a lifesaver. I love it when we're uplifting our leaders that are actually doing what they are doing. I spoke to Eddie Melton yesterday. He was sitting in the dark. Okay. And whatever it is, whatever paperwork he needed to file, whatever he had to push through, and whatever protocol he had to take, he has taken it. He has taken it. Now, as far as the disinvestment in what is it going to take for Gary to not be the Gary that we've seen? Let me tell you something. Just 2 years ago, I was driving through Gary thinking about I could actually buy a beautifully crafted beautiful architect. I could buy a home here for like 13 G's. Okay. I was really considering that. I was like, man, I could, but can I live here? Like you can buy a house there, but can you live there? Now, here's what the problem is, because I know people in Gary and they're no different than the people in Chicago. But here's the thing. If there's no businesses, the businesses aren't going to be there because there's no money. The money's not there because there's no industry. The people that are there are holding on to the homes that they have, and they probably have multiple families in one home. There's no money being spent out of those households. So where does the city get its money from? It gets its money from taxes, right? From businesses, taxes, and investment. But if nobody's doing any of those, the city can't thrive. So Willie Wilson can come in and drop $1 million. That's not, they need more than that. They need more than that. We're talking about a whole city that is surrounded by thriving cities. It's an island on its own. But how do we turn this around? Because like if I went there and opened up a grocery store, I could hire maybe 50, maybe 52 people, depending on the size of the grocery store. But are 52 people, is that enough to uplift and turn around an entire city? It's not. So you need a grocery store, an Apple store, and nobody wants to go there because they feel like, well, they'll break in before we get started. They look at it and see desperation when that's really not necessarily what it is. Those people just need industry. And what industry? And see the Chicago Bears. Look at the Chicago Bears, Mustafa. If they see, we were over here going, I ain't going to Gary to watch the Bears. You weren't going to the Soldier Field to watch the Bears. But if the Bears were to go to Gary, Indiana, that would create industry. It would. They would provide jobs. Other businesses would follow because they want to be surrounded by that anchor. And then money would pour into the community. And then people would have jobs. They'd have to beautify the area. All kind of things would happen. But we over here talking about something. Nah, put them in Arlington Heights. We want to keep them in Chicago. Man, oh, wait. I'm on the radio still.
Hey, LaDonna, you know what? I appreciate your commentary. I listen to you whenever I can. And my break is up.
Oh, okay.
I stayed a little long.
Thank you.
I did doing some overtime today.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I'm doing some overtime because my quarter ain't in order. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. Thank you so much, Mustafa.
Yeah, the time ain't on time. Okay, now I'll see you.
All right, dear.
All right.
Guys, Mustafa came through. We had a conversation. You guys can give us a call. It's what's the number? 312-705-5850. That's my hotline today. I want to hear from you. We were on a roll. Let me read these comments because there's more. Oh, here we go. So Al Stone said them Democrats have ran that city forever. This isn't, wait, it skipped. This is not a MAGA moment. Fix it. I just told you what it would take. Okay. Bring your grocery store over there. Okay. Everybody running their mouth. Cause see, like right now, I'm trying to buy a business and a building that the business is in. And before I make my final decision and solidify my business plan, I'm having areas where I'm trying to improve, providing jobs to the community. Anybody can come. If you notice, have you ever been to one of those fish places where they fry everything and they put lemon pepper on everything? If you've ever been to those places, they always hire a Black woman at the register. I never noticed that until I had my son, or was it a cousin? My cousin was coming here from another state. And I took him up there to get a job. And he said, I'm going to be honest with you. We only hire Black women for cashiers because they know how to handle the customers and they know, and they attract more customers. I mean, he was being honest with me. So that's what mattered. But if you notice, that's the template. So they're not hiring. Okay. They're working in the back watching her. And she's working in the front watching you or helping you. That's not bringing jobs to your community. That's bringing bad fish, bad food, and the like. On top of that, if you were to bring something like, and I'm saying a grocery store because it's a food desert out there too. I don't know where they get their groceries. There's a few grocery stores, but we have grocery deserts or food deserts here. But if we were to bring some businesses collectively and put them there one at a time, it would take some time, but we would be able to employ those people and those people would be able to take their paychecks and put it back into the community as long as what they're looking for is in the community. Let's go ahead and get Leonard on. Hey, Leonard, Oh, you want to talk
Hey,
about
how's it going?
it's going good. You about to talk about these Burrs. These Burrs. I call them the Burrs, the Bears.
Okay. I was gonna say, yeah, you gotta let me know. I didn't want to know. I didn't know what you were talking about at first.
The
I'm not a
Burrs, you
I'm
know.
not a sports person, so
Uh-huh.
you got to say exactly the name of the team.
Oh, okay.
But
The Chicago Bears.
yeah, now this is what I'm looking at, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you have stuff like that that happens in a particular community, if they're going to build something up, they're going to look for low price land. So they build it up in the low price land. What that does is it boosts the property value up of the existing low price land. The current residents end up getting priced out as of the taxes, because when the property value goes up, so does the property taxes. See, the gentrification thing.
Well, let's
So
talk about that because
okay.
let's say that you have well, how does that educate me? Okay. How would that affect someone who would get, let's say, a senior tax freeze? Would they be priced out as well?
In Chicago, yes, they would, because the percentage of the single tax freeze is a sliding tax amount. It's not
Okay.
like, okay, you get 100% off on your taxes. Now, the only people that it would not affect is disabled veterans that are 70% disabled or above,
Oh my goodness.
because we pay zero property taxes at 70% or above
Well, I think
in the state of Illinois.
we should move in with y'all.
No, well, this is what I say when it comes to the we should stop talking about we not going to fight the white man war, and we should serve a little 3 years in the military, and the we's can get some stuff cracking. They
But
undervalue.
wait. I'm sorry. At what cost though? You just said
What do you mean at
70%
what cost?
disabled. You said 70% disabled. Look,
70% disabled.
thank you for your service, but you just said
Okay, let me tell
70%
you what.
disabled.
Okay, let me tell you what 70% disabled is.
Okay, please.
Okay, I was carrying a backpack and I got pain in my neck, my back, my feet are flat, my ears kind of ring a little bit because I didn't have the ear protection all the way in. When I straighten my arms out, my elbows crack.
Okay, so
people get the disabled thing confused. They think disability is all like your legs were blown off,
right.
and you're in a wheelchair rolling around. No.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Look, enlighten me, because I
That's
know
what I'm doing.
I know that I know that I would, that's a heck of a cost. But for those that don't come back with those simple, I don't want to say simple, with those manageable symptoms, then it's a higher risk. But I see your
Right.
point.
Well,
The trade-off
yeah.
is, hey, you served our country, you don't pay property taxes. Is that right? If you're
That's if you-
70%
and-
disabled.
That's if you're 70% disabled. Now, say
Okay.
if someone went in and nothing happened to them and they never even left the United States for anything.
Mhm.
Okay. You do your 3 years for the fellas, you could become a combat engineer and do only 2 years in the military. Once you get out, first and foremost, you want to buy a house, no money down. No down payment. You know how they want the 20% down on the property?
Commercial property, yes.
No. Homes. You got to put money down on the home.
If you're a first-time home buyer, you don't need 20% down.
Okay. Well, if you were in the military, you need no money down.
And you know something? And that works. I don't think that works in my favor, because if I go no money down, that means I got to pay the whole amount in mortgage. So I always try to calculate money down to reduce my liability for my mortgage. I don't want a $4,000 mortgage payment. But I hear you.
Now,
I hear you.
No money down. Then, of course, you're banking with USAA. know you've seen the commercial.
Yeah, I heard it.
So
They need to
you're going to
advertise
get
here. Write them down.
yes, and you get the lowest
Interest rate.
And yeah, that's why I laughed because it tickled me. So my phone started acting kind of funny because I went in the kitchen and something about my kitchen, I think it's my refrigerator, it messes my signal up a little taste. I had to go get another ginger ale.
Now, let's go back to what you initially said, because now there's such a slippery slope. Like, we can't do better because, for instance, I'm looking for a house right now.
Mhm.
And I'm looking at the property taxes, and it used to scare me. I used to say, I don't want to pay that much in property tax, but the higher property tax brackets that I don't want to pay have a better landscape, better air
Mhm.
quality, better, you know what I'm saying? Like, things that
Mhm.
environmentally safe for my family and I. Lower
Mhm.
lower property taxes tend to be the more dangerous and at-risk areas and I'm not talking about crime. I'm not worried about crime. I know how to handle myself. I'm talking about air quality, flooding, those types of things.
Mhm.
Infrastructure that is just not taken care of. So so now we're looking at this situation saying, well, if we bring the bears, because Mega Band said property value will go up and price the current residents out. How about we change the laws? How about we lobby to change the laws? When
You could try it. You
we
could
have
try
to
it. It's not
try
gonna
it.
work.
But see, that attitude says that we're not even going to try. So what about, because if you ever, I had to do a crash course on how they calculate the property taxes in Illinois anyway.
Yeah, because
And
Illinois is the second highest,
yeah,
unless
buddy,
they
look,
bump New Jersey out the way.
I don't recall what that stat is, but I was looking at the calculation and the multipliers and the ups and downs. And I'm like, wow, this is really, somebody put some thought into this to make sure that they win, we lose. But in this situation, when somebody brings an establishment that will increase the value and investment in your neighborhood, it comes at a cost. Otherwise, you're just going to go downhill. And I don't understand. There's a trade-off. And I know it's all of a sudden, but if we could change the laws where you know how businesses come into the state of Illinois in some areas and they get a 10-year tax break,
Mm-hmm.
commercial property, right? What if they did that for
Mm-hmm.
residents so that they can prepare for this higher? And I'm not talking about like stick it to them in 10 years. I'm talking about, okay, I know I got 10 years to prepare for my property taxes to go up to this amount. And then give them time to prepare. Stop doing everything for the immigrants that come here and open up a business. They did that with the Asians. And stop doing that just for the businesses. What about the residents that have invested in the community? They need to get a tax break also. When new people come in, I shouldn't be hit the next tax season with a higher tax bill because my property value went up all of a sudden, unless I sell. Now, if I plan on staying, then I need to gradually get there.
Mm-hmm.
That's something to think about, legislators. If you're listening, those that go to these committee meetings, think about presenting something of this nature. Seriously. Because we
Yeah.
should welcome the Obama Center without going, oh hell. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we should welcome these things into our community. Because it gives us more investment in the community. It beautifies and uplifts the community. It increases the morale if you don't have the Debbie Downer attitude of my property taxes are gonna go up and my house is, because to be honest with you, when that assessment goes up on your house, you don't necessarily have the money to adjust to the new assessment. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Right. So we need to kind of balance it out so that it's a win-win situation. Win-win-win, because the government has to win too. But win-win-win situation. I think that's fair.
Yeah. Well, it would be nice if they followed the model in Illinois as they do in the state of Georgia. Then everybody would win.
What is it in the state of Georgia? I want to hear.
Okay. The property value in the state of Georgia is 0.79 or 1% at the highest. 1% at the highest of the value of the home.
Mm-hmm.
So what's 1% of 500,000?
Mm.
I don't know. My math is not that great, but that's your property tax. Right
Wow.
there, 1%. And that's
Wow.
at the highest. That's the highest.
That's
Trust
the cap.
me.
That's the cap.
Yeah, I have, like me, I live small because the kids are grown and gone, so I downsized. It's a buddy of mine, just one of them. He's got the largest house of everyone overall. He has this 4,500 square foot wow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. His mortgage is $2,400 a month.
And where is this, in Georgia?
Yes, in Georgia.
Yeah.
His sister just came down here from Chicago. It was a whole big family thing. All of us that grew up in Inglewood, a bunch of Inglewoodians from when it used to be Paul Robeson High School and Inglewood High School. We all went to the same schools. Everybody converged, right? The only people that rented rooms was those that wanted to, because it's not like there was no room, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the brother-in-laws or whatever it is, he was talking to me, and he's like, man, because he had said something and it tickled me funny. He's like, I don't know, man, we take this big old picture in the front, it's white folk. White folk? What white folk? Said, do you know that the surrounding communities around here, blacks are the majority?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, where do you live? I said, about 10-minute drive away from here. Okay, yeah. And blacks are the majority. 62% is the lowest percentage of blacks in this whole region. Like, you get 5 suburbs.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's us.
Come on, us.
So I'm like, what are you talking about?
Oh, look,
Yeah,
I want to read this comment Carol Carter put on, because we're done at 8. But did you go to Miller and Gary? Miller is 60% black, and they also have public housing. Miller is at 7119 East. Okay. When Mayor Hatcher, a black man, became mayor of Gary, the white people moved to Maryville, which is further south on Broadway. Broadway was the Gary downtown area. The steel mills, they're probably talking and it didn't pick up properly. The steel mills moved out the U.S. My father-in-law retired from Indiana Steel in the late 70s. They live in Terrytown. That is on the west side of Gary. Property value would go up in the price with price to current. Okay. Oh, so and just in listening to what you're saying, there's a lot of things that we need to pull together. We need to get to our legislators. We need to lobby for. We need to talk to lobbyists and ask for change. If we don't, we're just going to complain about it, and they don't care about our complaints. They really don't. They tell us take a number. But I did this 3-step process research last year, and it says, like, first off, the school district creates a budget. Okay. So let's say a school district determines they need $120 million. Now, Illinois has more school districts than anybody in the freaking country. Okay. We got all these school districts. And then they have to determine other funding sources. So property taxes, state funding, federal funding. And if the district receives $30 million from the state, $10 million from federal programs, that means they still need $80 million. So the school board passes a tax levy, and they request what's called a tax levy. So the school district levies for $80 million. That goes into the county. The county calculates the tax rate. And then once the rate depends on the total property value in the district. If the total taxable property value in the district is $4 billion, the clerk calculates a rate needed to generate $80 million. That becomes part of the school district tax rate. And then the rate gets added to other local taxes. I mean, there's so much going on. Now, I have a question. Somebody just won, I think, $1 billion, just short of $1 billion in the lottery.
Yeah, they got $455 million. As if they make a one-time withdrawal, you never get the whole billion because they tax you like 52% of the earnings for big ones like that.
Right.
53%.
Yeah, I'm okay with getting 400 million. Okay. What am I going to do with it? But the lottery contributes to the school system. I mean, they even say that in some of their commercials. So every lottery ticket goes directly to the schools. And
so that's what they say, but I want to see
you don't
receipts,
right.
I
You
don't
know, I think
believe
we need to request that, Mr. Leonard.
Yeah, I don't believe it because they've been saying that.
Forever.
They've been saying that for years.
Right, since I was a kid. For real.
You know, they've been saying that forever. And when I went to Robeson High School, did not get fixed and they tore the school down.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you
they tore down Inglewood High School too. So
oh yeah. I'm glad you mentioned the school because and I'm gonna slide in because we gotta close out. But I want to tell you this: next Saturday, the legendary LaDonna Tittle will be in studio with us. She is radio legend, LaDonna Tittle. So the two LaDonnas will be in the studio.
Yeah, I remember LaDonna Tittle with the tittle in the middle.
That's right. And you know, I've been teased. I've been called Tittle in the middle all my life. But I finally get to sit down with her, and she's coming to WVON next Saturday at 7 a.m. The following Saturday, I think we're going to talk about the DuSable High School and the alumni that have graduated from there. There's so many prominent people that graduated from DuSable High School. And how does it stand as it stands today? So we're going to talk about that, I believe, the following Saturday. So guys, just keep it locked on Senior Talks. Leonard, thank you so much for calling in and helping.
Well, I had one question for you because I saw
please.
something did change over time.
Okay.
Since when did the call letters VON become Voice of the Nation? When did that change happen?
Oh, let me look it up. I'm not going to even pretend like I remember what year that was.
Okay, because I know when it initially started, when Herb Kent was on there with Purvis Spann back in the day, and it was 1390 AM when I was a child. VON meant Voice of the Negro.
Sure did, and sometimes I say that too. But let's see. When somebody's going to. Oh, Rebecca, let her on real quick. Come on, Rebecca. She may have an answer. Come on with me and Leonard.
The answer to your question is this. The lottery does this. When you win $1 billion and say $100 million is supposed to go to the schools, that means that the federal government takes away $100 million. So you're getting the same amount you get in the first place. It's just a different person giving it to you.
And it goes to the state taxes, right? Not the county.
Exactly. So you don't really benefit. It's the same thing as if I give you $100 or your daddy give you $100. You still only got $100. So it never profited us, period. I heard them come on one day and told the truth about it.
Lord,
and people were asking, why is it we're not getting any more money? And they said, that's how it works. You win the lottery, and that's how it works.
Jesus, thank you so much. All right, I gotta let you go.
Okay.
I love you for it. Thank you. Bye-bye. All right, Voice of the Negro. Here we go. April 1960, Voice of the Negro. And then by Voice of the Nation started in, oh, come on, I need to get off this air. 2013, the 50th anniversary, WVON is officially branded itself as the Voice of the Nation. So in 2013, there's your answer. And I got it in record time.
Yeah, all right.
I got it in record time. Make sure you call me back next week too, guys. All of you guys that didn't get a chance to call in and those that called in, call next week because LaDonna Tittle in the middle will be in the building and you will be able to see it on Facebook Live. Feel free to share the show. Thank you for putting up with me, little old me, pre-senior LaDonna Ray. That's it for Senior Talk because Obadeli is next. And I'll see you guys at 9:00 on the Wake Up Show Chicago with the Chamber. That's it. Bye-bye for now.
Had a few things work out a different way, but you live long enough and you'll see it's true. It's worth keeping, take time to come through. We're just at the good time, going through the pines, just small little pieces in a bigger design. The only